My name is Clara Vale, and I'm from Boston, USA. I still remember the night I stopped believing in loyalty. The night my mentor, the man I trusted more than anyone, looked me straight in the eyes and said, "It's just business." Before I tell you what that did to me, please subscribe to our channel because what I'm about to share isn't just a story. It's a reminder that sometimes revenge doesn't need fire, only silence and patience. I was 22 when I joined Arcton Corporation. Fresh out of university, full of dreams, full of trust. My mother worked nights sewing clothes just to pay my tuition. When I got that job, I thought all her sacrifices finally meant something. My mentor, Mr. Raymond Hale, everyone called him Ray, was the kind of man who could control a room just by walking in. Sharp suit, calm smile. He saw something in me, or at least, that's what he said. "You remind me of myself at your age," he told me once. And those words, they became my fuel. He trained me personally, stayed late to review my reports, trusted me with confidential projects. People whispered that I was his favorite, but I didn't care. Because I truly believed he cared. That he believed in me. 2 years later, I was promoted to lead analyst, the youngest in the company's history. Ray smiled that day, proud like a father. "You've earned this," he said. I remember thinking, finally, life is fair. But fairness is a fragile illusion. One morning, I walked into the office and found security waiting by my desk. Everyone was staring. I asked what was going on. One of them said quietly, "Please come with us." Inside the conference room, HR sat stiffly, a folder on the table. Inside it were financial records, transactions, numbers I'd never seen before. And at the bottom, my digital signature. Money had been moved to an offshore account under my name. I froze. "There's a mistake," I whispered. "I didn't." Then Ray walked in. Calm. Silent. He didn't even look at me right away. Just sat down and said, "The evidence is clear, Clara." Hearing my name in his voice felt like betrayal wrapped in silk. "Ray," I begged, "you know I'd never." He cut me off. "I want to believe you. But the board is already involved. It's out of my hands." And then, the final blow. As I reached out, tears in my eyes, he said softly, "It's just business." Those words shattered something inside me. I was escorted out that same afternoon. No chance to explain. No one looked at me. By the time I reached home, my phone was already exploding with headlines. Arcton's rising star involved in fraud. My mother's eyes filled with tears. "Clara, what did you do?" I couldn't answer. Within a week, I lost everything: my job, my home, my name. Even my friends disappeared. I slept on a borrowed couch, scrolling through articles, tearing my life apart. And every night, before I fell asleep, I heard his voice again. "It's just business." Months passed. The world had already judged me. The charges were dropped eventually, lack of evidence. But the damage was done. No one hires a girl with a name tied to fraud. So I started over. Quietly. I found a job at a small accounting firm, tiny pay, no title, no pride. But I worked. And studied. At night, I read everything I could: finance, corporate law, acquisitions. If I couldn't prove my innocence, I'd learn how the system that destroyed me really worked. 3 years later, I was ready. Not to destroy him. To outgrow him. I joined an investment firm under a new name. Different hair. Different life. No one knew who I was. One day, I saw a familiar name appear on my screen. Arcton Corporation. They were in trouble. Stock falling. Scandals rising. Ray had borrowed too much. Lied too often. The empire he built on lies was collapsing. And I saw my chance. Our firm was planning to buy out struggling divisions. I made sure Arcton was one of them. Quietly. Carefully. Piece by piece. A year later, the deal was done. My firm now owned Arcton's analytics division, the same department I once led. The irony almost made me laugh. I thought revenge would feel like fire. But it felt like peace. Then fate added one last twist. The board requested a transition lead for my side. Guess who they picked? Me. When I walked into that glass building again, every corner whispered my past. And there he was, Ray. Older. Thinner. Tired. He didn't recognize me at first. Not until I spoke. "Good morning, Mr. Hale. I'm Clara Vale from Haven Investments." He froze. That name, that voice. Fear flashed across his eyes. The meeting was awkward. He tried to act confident, but his hands trembled slightly when he signed the papers. I spoke calmly, every word controlled, every sentence polite. Power wrapped in grace. At the end, he stopped me. "Clara, or should I say?" I smiled. "You remember then?" His voice cracked. "You bought this company?" I shrugged. "Just business, Mr. Hale." And for the first time, he understood what those words really meant. Months passed. The company thrived again. Truth replaced lies. I didn't ruin him, I released myself. But one evening, I called him into my office, his old office. He stood there, smaller than I remembered. "You destroyed me once," I said quietly, "but you also taught me how to rebuild." He looked away. "I was protecting the company." "No," I interrupted. "You were protecting yourself." I handed him a folder, the real evidence. Proof that he had framed me. He looked up in shock. "I'm not pressing charges," I said. "You'll resign quietly. Take your money. Leave. And never speak my name again." He whispered, "Why?" I smiled. "Because this is just business." He left a week later. No one ever heard from him again. Now, when I walk through those same hallways, people look at me differently. They see strength. They see power. But they don't see the silence it took to get here. Sometimes, late at night, I sit by the window. City lights glowing beneath me. And I think of him, the man who taught me everything, including how to burn without showing the flame. He once said, "Loyalty is just another business expense." He was wrong. Loyalty is an investment, and mine finally paid off. Maybe that's what revenge really is. Not destruction, but evolution. Not shouting, but silence that echoes forever. Before I end this story, if you're watching this, remember, sometimes the best revenge isn't to fight fire with fire. It's to become everything they said you couldn't. Subscribe to our channel and tell me in the comments, what would you have done if someone looked you in the eyes and said, "It's just business"?